Tension between with our trunk, with our hip musculature, and our upper back, we're going to be in a good spot. What are some common like faults that you see like in the squat? Like what are some things that like happen? Like knees cave in is probably the most common. Chest collapsing, so your upper back rounding. Okay.
Heels coming up.
So heels coming up. So a lot of those things can be. If we root better, we brace better, we engage our lats more, it's going to help. How about for like a deadlift? Back rounding is probably the most common, right? And then how about knees caving in like on a sumo deadlift for sure? Okay, yeah, I like that too. So again, how can those be corrected? More bracing, more lat tension. So you see the common theme here. And then also for the bench, what are some things that you see on the bench?
Losing the arch.
Arch collapsing. What else?
Bad bar path.
Poor bar path. So yep. What else?
Shoulders not being tight.
Elbows, yeah.
So elbows flaring, shoulders shrugging, right? So again, lat tension, hip drive, all that stuff is going to help. So I'm going to show you guys some different drills. We're going to try out a bunch. So the concept that I like to use, so this could be used as a warm up. This could be used as actually like for something like you're like, not even after the warm up, like you're. So like a lot of stuff we do is more of a general warm up. Even during your specific warm up, when you actually have the bar in your back or the bar in your hands, you can do that as well. The concept is called RNT. It's called reactive neuromuscular training. It's when you're actually using tension to feed your body into a compensation. So for example, I'm going to put tension on my body. So I'm going to have a band or something or hip circle actually pull my knees inward so you can learn to reflexively drive out of it. I'm going to have something pull my arms inward or pull my arms forward so I can learn to reflexively get out of it. So in the case of a squat and a sumo deadlift, I would say the most common things would be the knees collapsing. So something like a band or a hip circle is going to be really effective for that. Also, this might be a good thing for you, Mel, and anyone that's going to potentially work with people. This is something I've kind of been toying with a little bit. There's going to be, and maybe this is another conversation or for another section, but we always want to look at forces and kind of what the forces are doing. When I put the band above my knees, there's no shear on my knee here, but then if I start to add resistance down here, you're going to have to deal with a little bit more shear. So even like in something like a side plank, for example, there's going to be some shear on the knee. So for most general population, I usually do a lot more short lever side plank stuff. We have enough joint stress and things to deal with compression and shear and stuff when we're doing the barbell stuff. So a lot of times when I'm doing assistance work or corrective type exercise, I try and make it as joint friendly as possible, which is why we have a lot of these handles. So just food for thought, when you're doing a lot of these banded exercises in general, just above the knee is going to be like the most knee friendly. Okay, because now I'm loading the hip, but since it's above the joint, I'm not having that shear force on the knee. So the band's going to pull me inwards. I'm going to have to reflexively come out. If I feel slack, I know I'm not actually driving out anymore. So we're going to do some squats. We're going to do some wall squats as well. By combining this with a wall squat, it's going to help me prevent the two most common faults, which is chest coming forward and the knees coming inward. So I can kind of just kill two birds with one stone. I can practice with the bar. I can practice this, however I want. I can work with a variety of stances. I should be able to pause at any point. And I'm a little bit tight, so it maybe wasn't the best movement or best squat, but a lot of people are going to kind of fall backwards. A lot of people, if your knees come too far forward, your knees are going to smash into the wall. If my face comes too far forward, it's going to smash into the wall. So it's kind of self-correcting. You want to get as close to the wall as possible. Obviously, if you're doing a more like Olympic lifting or knee dominant squat, you may need to adjust how far away you are from the wall a little bit. If someone's having trouble with the balance part of it, you could also do it with the box. And as I get more comfortable, I can come closer to the wall. And again, I should be able to stop at any point and control the motion. Okay? Teaching the squat. Again, this is probably more for for Mel than anyone else, but this is also a great method for push-ups, split squats, a lot of different movements. I really like the bottom-up method. So start from the midpoint position. The reason that's going to be important, a lot of times people will start to make mistakes on the way down. So if I get them in a good bottom position to start, I can adjust their feet because they're supported. I can pull their arms forward. All right, that looks good. Stand up. All right, just get down in the box again. I can adjust them again. That's stinky. That's a little better. It's a little better. Pull their arms forward. All right, Sally, that looks good. All right, then you can stand up from here. So the bottom-up method's really good. I can do the same thing. So like if I'm trying to do a split squat or something like that, I'm probably going to make a lot of errors coming down if I just say, hey, and I wouldn't do that with the hip circle. So just in general, it's a good teaching tool as well, the bottom up. Okay, this looks good. I'm stacked here, I'm stacked here. All right, let's stand up. Come back down again. So you're kind of just focusing on the concentric only. Same thing with a push-up. A lot of times people mess up on the way down. Get them in a good bottom position. Have them lift up. On that same token, when you're teaching a push-up, a lot of times people's elbows are going to flare, they're going to shrug. So this is going to put me, the band's going to pull me into more internal rotation and kind of pull my arms inward. So right here, so I need to force my shoulders into external rotation. And if I start to flare, I'm gonna actually push out on the band. Okay. One thing I like to do, and you do this again with the hip circle. We're gonna do this over here. It's called like an air bench press. So again, people that kind of tend to do this. I'm just gonna try to pull the bar apart in my mind. If I lose slack, if I get slack, I'm going to feel it right away. So I need to shove out, and I should be able to stop at any point. So that's a really good way to practice your bar path and your control for the bench. For the deadlift, most common thing is, like I said, shoulder shrugging, back rounding, so that's all lat tension type stuff. This is going to pull me forward, so I'm going to keep contact with my body and the bar the whole time. I'm going to practice my deadlift position. If I lose contact, it's going to be slack, and I'm going to feel that loss of tension. I can do that in either stance. I can combine that with a hip circle around my knees if I'd like as well. If you don't have a dowel, that's fine. You could just do that with individual bands as well. But I want to make sure I want to have my thumb as a guide, so my thumb stays in contact with my body the whole time. Hands stay in contact with my body. Try and keep the resistance in line with your wrist. If you have people that are not as athletically gifted, you could have them not hold it, just in case you're afraid they're gonna it's gonna rip out of their hands or something like that. So that's for the deadlift.